Hi, I'm Abiola, and I went to Washington Adventist University. But prior to that, I did my bachelor's in psychology while I was in the Navy, and which is fortunate for me, I know. And then I transitioned to WAU, which is Washington Adventist, for my master's degree, and I have two master's degree in one in counseling psychology and the other in clinical mental health psychology. For languages that I speak, I'm fortunate enough to speak at least two Nigerian languages. I know my friends would be like, no, you just speak one Nigerian language, but English is an addition to the two, and so that's three Nigerian languages that I speak. What else do you want to know about me? Let's see. I was in the Navy. You heard me say that earlier on, and transitioned from that into the civilian side, and hence the mental health field that I work in now. So yes. The experiences and trainings that have prepared me for this role actually started in school at Washington Adventist, and there we did the internship because after your master's, you need to do a 1 year internship, and during the 1 year internship, I actually did my internship at Lati Wellness. It was an experience worth my while because there were so many things that I didn't know that I could do because I had very good, I mean, really good supervisors. I had a supervisor once telling me, "Hey, Biola, mental health is an art of dancing. And so it's not just you, but it's you and your clients. So if you think at any point you're dancing by yourself, it's time to stop and go back to what you don't know already." And so that helped me. And I also had a supervisor who was also pushing me when I told I hadn't tried couples therapy before. She was like, why don't we do that? Why don't we start there? So see, my internship in Latsi Wellness helped form the better person that I have become today. And now with my LGPC, I look forward to pursuing more on that and being a better person. In my free time, I love traveling. So I usually hope my vacations run from a week to two so that I can actually travel out of the country and enjoy things that normally I would not in America, in terms of like going to Europe, seeing places. Those are the fun things that I like to do. But when I'm home and it's the end of the work day, the one thing I like to do is maybe sit down and play a bit of mind games because I have a couple of those on my phone. So I play those. And I love learning languages. So I play a little bit of Duolingo on my phone and get myself and my mind into a different space that is not work heavy. So that's what I do in my free time. My goodness, that'll be my trip to Switzerland. Oh, it actually, that trip doesn't need to pay rent at all. It's okay by itself living free in my head because it was it was different. It's not like the other places that I've been to in Europe. I loved the mountain views. I loved the fountains and the colors of the water. I not like your regular Bohemian, or would I say Barbados kind of colored water. No, the water was just fresh, and most of them were glacier water, so it was really beautiful. So most times I reminisce by looking at the pictures and videos I took while I was in Switzerland. I love those places. It was an experience. For me, when it comes to my forte, when it comes to clinical specialty, we understand that there's the population aspect of it, and there's the particular issues of um, what people are experiencing, and so modalities, every of those. But for me, I enjoy working with mood disorders. I enjoy working with a little bit, not a whole lot, little bit of bipolar disorder, and then I also I also work with depression, clients with depression, and some emotional capabilities as well, like emotional disorders and things like that, because those create the foundation most times of what people are experiencing, what they want worked on, and things like that, right? If someone is feeling a certain kind of way and they don't have someone they can express all of that to, or also want to help guide them in achieving their goals, to not see life the way they're seeing it, either half empty or half full, then it makes the changes that they need to see. So for clinical specialties, I enjoy working with those mood disorders and other clinical specialties that involve that. For me, my therapeutic approach will be more of CBT and holistic. Actually, I love holistic therapy. Maybe because I don't like using medications myself, so I love holistic. I would like to try every other thing first before I revert to okay a medication and things like that. So that's what helps the holistic approach for me and why I work well with that. And the other is CBT. I love working with CBT because it's not just a one therapeutic approach. No, it applies to almost every other thing, every other aspect of therapeutic approach, of modalities and symptoms and all of that. So CBT is the best for me that I think works the most efficiently and effective. When it comes to working with demographics of different, especially clients of different cultural backgrounds, is getting to know the client that makes the difference, right? And understanding what works for them. Some clients would straight out take what you bring to the table because what they're looking for is the their goal being achieved. While some clients will they will tell you straight out like, no, this doesn't work for me, let's do what works for me. So for me, it's going back and seeing what works for my clients and working with them from that place, right? Because when we come to the table and the goals are set and everything, now it's time to start achieving those goals. It doesn't matter if I'm of a different skin color than they are, right? What we want is achieving those goals so that at the end of 3 months, 6 months, however long the goals were set comes to play, we have achieved what we came in for. And it's a dance between both the client and myself. And so we don't really, I'm not trying to say this because I'm not mindful of multicultural. No, I'm very, very mindful of the multicultural aspects. But I also look at it from the perspective that we work hand in hand. They tell me what works for them based off of their culture, and I take it into the therapy place, and we work from there. So I don't disperse their color or my color. No, we bring all of it to the board, and we work from there. I would say I've gained a lot actually because it's helped me see people from a different perspective, right? I can say, oh, yes, I know my Africans and I know the way they act, but what about the other people? So getting to work with, like, I had a client who was Korean and I had a Spanish client. I had a mixture of all this, right? So getting to work with those people has helped me understand their culture and the boundaries that even though they're not visible, but you have to abide by those. So getting to know those things has helped the diversity very effective for me because now I know what works and what doesn't work, right? I wouldn't go into a session with someone who is of a different background, working with them like they're African American. I would not do that. So I have to understand where they're coming from and how I can come in and then we can achieve the goals that they want to achieve for therapy. For therapy sessions, my clients do feel heard because that's one of the first grounding rules we lay when we start session, right? They're saying they're heard. If at any point they feel like, okay, I'm saying something and she's not understanding, please call my attention to it. So that's one of the grounding rules we lay. And so that way it helps my clients to come into session, not hiding behind a mask, but saying exactly what's on their mind and then allowing me to work with them to achieve what they want to, right? That's the art of listening. I do a lot of that. I love listening to people talk. So when I listen to them talk, then I can ask back and say, is this exactly what you're saying? And whatever their response is, yes or no, then we can continue or we can go back and fix what has been said. And so there's little itty bitties of listening very carefully, being attentive to what is being said, watching out for nonverbal cues, even the verbal cues, and things like that. It goes a long way during sessions because it allows a client to actually come in ready for their next step instead of saying, I don't know what she's going to say to me or let me hide behind this mask. No, they themselves, they've been themselves and I'm being me. And it helps during the therapeutic process. I measure success with my clients incrementally, right? Because I'm looking at where they are, where we started, where we're going, and the goals that we have for each level, right? So if the first point of our goal is in 6 weeks we should have achieved ABC. Even 6 weeks, if we have achieved ABC, then that is success. If we have not achieved ABC, we go back and look at what we missed what we should have accomplished that we did not accomplish, and when we accomplish that, we go to the next phase of it. So it's incremental. It's not a big chunk that I'm looking forward to and say, okay, when it's 6 months and I can say no, 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 no. It's week by week, and as often as we see. I enjoy listening to people. I enjoy understanding other people because sometimes, as broad as depression sounds, right? One person's symptoms may be different from the next person's symptoms, right? So for me, it's more about sitting back and understanding the person and then working with them from that place. So it allows me to see people, and if they give me the opportunity to understand what's going on in their mind, right, it helps me understand them even much better. And that makes the work a whole lot easier for the client, no, for the people involved in it. So I would say it's better that way, getting to know people and understanding where they're coming from. I understand that everybody's got their own, right? So I work with clients based off of that. But when I find myself in the place where I feel, okay, I'm no longer as effective as I was, or I'm no longer the person that they are gleaning from, I step back, and that's when I ask my supervisor and or the company in general for a time off, and I just take that time away and just whatever it is that is causing the burnout, find it and work with it within myself, right? And when I've gone through that process, then I can come back and be effective to my clients. Because if I'm burnt out, like you rightfully said, if I'm burnt out because of compassion, because with compassion there's a burnout for it as well. So if I'm burned out being compassionate, or if I'm burned out because I'm constantly listening and I'm hearing a whole lot of false things, then I am not helping. There is nothing coming from me at that point. But if I'm able to take time and take care of myself, as well as I tell my clients to do the same, then I think it's effective for both myself and the clients. There are a couple of things that set me apart. I'm unique, like every other person is, right? But I'm empathic, and I'm a good listener. That's one of it. And I'm also attentive. So these qualities are the things that set me apart. These qualities are the things that make me different from others. I know every therapist has got theirs. They're things that they're good at. I have mine as well. There are also some modalities that I work with. Like I mentioned earlier on, I'm very holistic. I'm very CBT heavy. I'm very CBT trauma heavy, and things like that. So those things are the things that set me apart from other therapists. They have theirs and I have mine. So is the uniqueness of me. Latte is a good place to work at. I did my internship in Latte, and now that I'm working towards my LCPC, coming back to Latte is one thing that I have found to be effective. I've worked for a couple other companies, but I haven't. I guess I was searching for the things I had in Latte while I was interning that I did not have with this company. So now coming back to Latte, it's for me, it's like, okay, this is where I need to grow. This is where I need to improve. That was what brought me back to Latte.